What's good, y'all? It's your boy Third Degree. We're back with more Ratchet Newz. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So let's go.
We're kicking it off. You already know, man. This past weekend was Super Bowl weekend, and Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl halftime show, and it had to clear people upset. But besides the performance being in Spanish and no subtitles, whatever, it was solid. You know what I'm saying? Like from the historical standpoint, I liked it, but. On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you rate Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance? Drop it in the comments, let me know. All right, moving on. Also, shout out to the Seahawks for pulling off that win. It was a pretty boring game, nothing but defensive kicks, but Seahawks finally woke up and, beat the Patriots, which I think half of America, of all America, was actually going for. But, one person who actually put money on the Patriots was Can't Catch a Break Drake. It's bad enough that the Patriots, quarterback is Drake May and this Drake, but he placed $1 million and lost. But, can't catch a break. He's been losing for like the last 2 years. So the Patriots. All right, moving on. Speaking of the Super Bowl, thousands of Americans were due to blockade from ICE to entering into the Super Bowl stadium. It's crazy, right? But they're sticking up, making sure they're saying ICE out. So from now on we're saying no ICE. Moving on. But speaking of ICE, popular MAGA influenced Junior Pena was who praised ICE and deportations is detained and faces deportation by ICE. The irony, right? Moving on. Going back to Super Bowl, as I said, the clear people were upset, so they did not want Bad Bunny to perform, so they did their own. They had their All-American halftime show, and they were saying it was going to be bigger than Bad Bunny's show, but turns out it only pulled in like 5 to 6 million, while Bad Bunny had like 133, 134 million, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Bad Bunny for that one. All right, moving. Kamala Harris is stepping in the media with her own news platform. Salute, salute, salute. All right, moving on. Also, the Super Bowl's coming back to LA, so I wonder who they're going to have for the halftime show. But Booty has sidelined Bad Bunny's performance acts. Who was that before saying he wants Chris Brown? And Chris Brown retweeted or said something, they need me. Chris Brown throws a subtle shade after Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show. So, hey, should Breezy be the halftime show for next year? I think he puts up a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see it, but with him and Jay-Z, I don't know, but hopefully they get over that and bring Breezy. So we'll see. Moving on. So much is going on for that Super Bowl, but we're being reported that Cardi B and Stephon Diggs reportedly unfollow each other on social media. But it's being reported that Cardi left the Super Bowl early after spending $1.2 million on an after party for Stephon Diggs, an event neither of them attended after she found out Diggs' other baby mama had front row seats with their newborn son with the jersey on. You know what I mean? And leave it up to 50. 50 quotes is saying, imagine waking up this morning and you done lost your itch in the Super Bowl. I would tell everybody to get away from me, have a drink, and go back to sleep. LOL. Branson Cognac. Leave it up to 50, right? All right, moving on. But speaking of 50, T.I. is calling out 50 Cent, and it's been going on and on. And even 50 came out calling King Rat, so it's been like really sparking up. But T.I.'s calling them out for a versus, and that would be pretty dope. So who would you think would win out of a versus between 50 and T.I.? I think this would be a good one. They need to make this happen. All right, but moving on. Wait. Before we move on, more about 50. 50 Cent's homies, Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda, run into Ja Rule on a flight, and man, it got heated. Matter of fact, Ja got escorted off, after threatening to fight, whatever. It was crazy, but leave it up to 50. Because I think Ja threw like a pillow at Yayo. And so leave it up to 50 to come up with a My Pillow Celebrity Edition, the Ja Rule. Soft enough to catch even a mid-flight. Crazy, right? Moving on. Jasmine Crockett comes out and says, most black people are not Republicans simply because we just is like y'all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK. End quote by Jasmine Crockett. That's loaded and ignorant. But she's somewhat valid, but still ignorant. But hey, what do I know? Moving on. I'm telling you, man, the internet ain't ish. They ain't ish. All right, moving on. Dave & Buster's is hiding 5 $15,000 3-carat diamond engagement rings for Valentine's Day this year. I might have to make a stop. Go on this little scavenger hunt. All right, moving on. It's being reported that Trump is named over 1 million times in unredacted Epstein files. Surprise. Moving on. Deion Sanders tries to play matchmaker for his sons with Marsai Martin, but, she says, I'm taken, but, you a good dad, though. And I don't blame him because she got her own stuff. He's trying to set his sons up for success with the right woman. So I feel him on that one, you know what I mean? So shout out to both of them. Moving on. Gene Simmons slams rap inclusion in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, says he doesn't come from the ghetto. What is that supposed to mean, bruh? But moving on. Shaq says his kids didn't speak to him after divorce with Shawnee. Oh man, crazy, right? But we're going to talk about that in a little bit more tonight. Moving on. A shout out to Pac. Tupac's Eyes on Me album gets inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Long overdue, but salute to the King Machiavelli. Also, Janet Jackson, too. Yeah, both Rhythm Nation and All Eyes on Me inducted into the Grammys Museum Hall of Fame. So shout out to both of them. Like Poetic Justice reunion, right? Who would have thought? Moving on. You know what? I forgot too. Jermaine Cole, aka J. Cole, dropped his album February 6th, The Fall Off. It finally came. And this is what he quoted. I have no interest in making no more J. Cole albums, but my passion and excitement right now is producing. I'll write, I will record when it hits me, but The Fall Off is a project I won't try to top. End quote. But, people are having mixed feelings about this album. One social media person wrote, Cole really bowed out with probably his worst album to date. I refuse to believe it took him 10 years to cook up some mid. I'm flabbergasted. So now I'm asking y'all, so what did y'all think about J. Cole's The Fall Off? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Moving on. OC Coffee Shop secretly operating as a strip club. So you can go get some coffee beans, and then get your beans felt and grinded on. Crazy, right? Moving on. It's been revealed that scientists claim our dreams are real in another reality. Crazy, because I didn't have some wild dreams, you know what I mean? All right, but moving on. Hey, Glorilla's sister, the one they call Brorilla, it's been reported that she was arrested in 2015 for drawing a weapon on Glow and threatening to unalive her or, cap her, you know what I mean? This is the reason why she broke and cut off, you tried to unalive her. It makes perfect sense now once we get the full story. Hey, what do I know? Moving on. Glow is reuniting for another tour. Hey, can't wait to see it. Moving on. After false claims of Bad Bunny having the most watched Super Bowl, the actual numbers came in, and Kendrick Lamar still has the most watched Super Bowl. So shout out to both of them. Moving on. UK woman unalived by her father in Texas because she said something bad about Trump. Man, these Trump supporters are nuts, right? Moving on. HDTV host Nicole Curtis fired. Show canceled over racial slurs. She called someone some type of N-word, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I got the video. We'll play it a little bit later on today too. Moving on. Georgia man sentenced to federal prison after threatening to unalive President Trump on TikTok Live. Dummy. Moving on. Jocelyn Hernandez blasts Mona Scott Young. They use me and abuse me on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Yeah, true. But moving on. Sexy Redflix Michael Jackson's Beat It into Eat It. And Lil Yachty might be behind it, but sparks out a backlash from the estate, and they're saying it's unauthorized. They might try to sue the bricks off of her. Moving on. Y'all roasted her, but now it's officially tea time. Young Miami says her viral single P Time drops 2020. And she wrote, let's get into some tea, ho. Don't you mean pee? After we heard what you like to do with them golden showers and Diddy. All right, moving on. Last but not least, Dawson Creek star James Vanderbeek, passed away at 48. So prayers out to him and his family. All right, well, that's all I got. Let's get into it.
Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet Newz. Enjoy the show.